Please join me in welcoming our speakers for the engaging conversation. Fireside chat panelist, we have moderator Uttama Pandit is Head of Operations at India Donates, where she works to strengthen giving and philanthropy in India by connecting individuals, businesses and institutions with meaningful social cause. Having worked with over 180 NGOs, she specializes in strategic fundraising and building partnerships that helps non-profit create sustainable impact. A trainer and speaker, Uttama has led workshops and spoken at national and international platforms on philanthropy, strategic giving, and strengthening the non-profit ecosystem. Richa Vahi, founder and CEO, Tails Taxfin. Vivek Agarwal, founder, Vivek Growth LLP. So can we have a big round of applause for all three of us for fireside chat, please? All right, over to you, Uttama.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for giving us this time of yours. It's very important and we'll stick by the timeline. And welcome once again to my fellow speakers. But before I get back to you, I know this is completely different than what we have been discussing since morning and from the background that all of you have come. But one thing remains central to it is that of course AI adoption and all of it, the business that we are trying to scale and transforming India in the next few years, one thing will always remain core is that one question that you can ask is that why you built what you're building, who you are also becoming. That's a question that I want to leave with you, because each one of you in this room, I believe, are leaders who have built business. You have built a career, you have built a product, you have also built a reputation. So leadership, what I have learned over the years, I felt that it's not just about creating only the success, the valuation, the market shares, all of it, but it also means what kind of opportunities you are creating for others whom you may or may not even meet in this lifetime. So just before I get back to our speakers, I would want to do a quick show of hands, not too many questions. Simple heart-to-heart questions is that in the last 1 year, or maybe before also, how many of you have contributed to a social cause? Just be honest enough, it's completely fine. Great. Keep your hands in the air if you still believe those contributions that you have made, was it your personal investment or it was a CSR? Great, amazing. And one last, is that how many of you can recall one such scenario where somebody had supported you not with money but with an opportunity? Great, amazing, thank you so much. Now I come back to our speakers. Of course, they are also doing leadership coaching, which is a core part of the rest of the work that you do. One thing, first question I will begin with Richa, is that do you believe that leadership comes with a responsibility in creating much more opportunity beyond the business that people do? If you think so, can you share some of your personal success stories or impact that you have created beyond the business?
Thank you, Uttama, and thank you everyone. Definitely leadership comes with responsibility. It's a skill that needs to be learned, and I'd like to quote Jim Collins from his book Good to Great, where he talks about the level 5 leaders, the ones who combine fierce ambition with humility. Now what happens is, the most common misnomer in our corporate scenario is that we associate leadership with a title. We feel the leadership should begin only when we are at a CXO level. No, leadership begins much beyond that. The minute your work starts to influence somebody, you're already a leader in that capacity. Now, whatever profession we go into, we take training for that. If I want to be an engineer, I go to an engineering school. If I want to be a management graduate, I go to an MBA. And we keep on rising the ladder. But nobody trains us for leadership. So definitely this is a skill which comes with a lot of responsibility, and people need to be trained on that. That's one. What was the second part of your question?
If any of your personal
Yes. So a great leader is not somebody who commands the room with the loudest voice, but who creates a safe space and who has such an authentic presence that other people in his presence or her presence, they feel free to discuss and to speak what they want to bring on the table. So a leader is how many leaders he creates. That's my way. And definitely when I look back, one of my earliest bosses that I worked with, I recall them because they were the ones who gave me the first opportunity, and I began my corporate journey with that. So sometimes the greatest gift that you can give somebody is the opportunity, because that is the start of someone's lineage and legacy to start with. And even if you recall, you must be recalling your earliest bosses, the ones who believed in you. Because most of the times we don't have that one person who says, please go, I'm there and I believe in you. So if you have that person, I think he did the best for you, and that's from where your success story began. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Risha, for echoing the same thing. That opportunity is also one of the biggest gifts that we can give to someone. Moving back to you, Vivek, can you please answer the same question?
So in my 15 years of corporate journey, one thing was very clear: the difference between a manager and a leader. So becoming a manager is easier compared to becoming a leader. And when I talk to current leaders, I ask them, how many of your team members want to work with you? They love to work with you. They will love to work with you for longer. If they really do, this means you have become a leader. Else you are still managing the work. So manager manages work, leader leads people. So if people want to work with you, this means you are in the process of becoming a leader. This is how I talk about when I do my leadership coaching. I talk to the budding leaders. My personal story, again, worked with IndiaMart, worked with the CEO of IndiaMart very closely, and I think the opportunity which we just talked about, I think I also got such an opportunity, and that made me what I am today. Across verticals, across learnings, he trusted me, and I loved working with him. I left because I wanted to do something else, but I would connect with him often and love working with him again. If that answers, yeah.
Thank you so much, Vivek. I think one thing which connects is that you also give an opportunity to someone whom you trust with. So these are the two things that which I am carrying forward from here. My next question is also something I often hear from all the leaders that I have worked within our India Village whom we work with. They often say that, we will start our giving journey, our philanthropic initiatives once we settle down the business, it scales up, we are creating great revenues. Do you believe that generosity should start only when your business or your thing is working very great, or it can continue side along as you build that? So what are your take on that?
I'd like to use a metaphor here since I'm a storyteller. Generosity is like a muscle. If you don't use it or exercise it when you have little of it, chances are you won't use it when you have more of it. So if you keep on waiting for a certain success to arrive, for a certain wealth number to be touched and then start, then I think you've already missed the point. Also, I feel India does, in philanthropic space, India does not have a generosity problem or wealth problem. India has a participation problem. So as people or as organizations in the philanthropic space, we should look at converting people who are contributing into partners, how more they can participate, instead of just looking at them as donors. So the more they participate and the earlier they participate, the better the philanthropic space would prosper. But definitely, the generosity should start as in where you are, not waiting for a certain number or a certain success metric to be achieved. That's my bit.
Okay, so working as a CIO, I got a couple of CIO awards as well. But what I recollect is the moment which I enjoyed the most was when I was able to work with someone and uplift the person, help the person move forward in their journey, be it a corporate journey, be it a social journey. And that is when around 2022 I realized that is what I want to work on. Corporate career will never end if I don't want to put an end to it, right? When I say end, pause somewhere. There's no right time. As she also mentioned, it's not a number which you achieve. It's when you realize that this is a time to bring a larger impact. And that is when I moved on and I decided to do leadership coaching, not to do coaching, but to help leaders become better in their journey and achieve where they want to achieve. So that's what I see. The generosity starts the day you start to work. It's not at the end. There's no end. There's no date you fix for the end. That's what I see.
So I'll just hold you with that thought. Maybe you can give me another answer to my next questions. It is that, of course, when you said like there is no end to giving and also generosity, what do you think you would look at when you start to give yourself? What are the things that you are looking at when you are giving for a cause or you are supporting someone? What are the things you are looking as an outcome or something from the other side? What are the qualities or anything?
I think one thing I look for is intentionality. So whoever I support, be it in a coaching or be it financially, be it supporting an NGO also, what do they want to do? What is their intention to bring as an outcome? I think that is what I see. I see how better they can be at execution, because giving a monetary contribution is easy, but how it is being used and the intentionality is what matters, I believe. That's what I can say.
Also, giving has an understanding within India that only financial contribution is a type of giving. But I would like to break the myth that there are people who are associated with our organization who have not just given their financial, but they are supporting with mentorship, they are guiding people across the domains that we work with their skill set, with their management and other advisory kind of support as well. So one just last quick question to Richa is that what are the things that you would personally look at again when you are thinking of generosity?
If today I'm thinking of supporting an organization in the philanthropic space, I would only look at one thing, and the people behind that organization. What is their vision? Do they have a plan B or C in place? Because in this space things can go astray. Because as Vivek also mentioned, great vision without great execution takes you nowhere. So I would really look at people, and that's the similarity between philanthropic space and a business proposal. We always build on people. Who are the people who are supporting this? Who are the people? What are they trying to build? What is their vision? And if this does not work this way, what is their plan B and C? Is it a short-term thing that they're thinking, or they have a long road to attempt? So I would only bet and invest in people, and because they would create the trust, and that will give me a credibility to move ahead with their venture. That's it. Thanks.
Yes.
Can I add something? Since we talked about beyond financial contribution, I think 3 areas where all us leaders can contribute is by our time, by our expertise, and by our networks. When I say time, so if somebody approaches us for a help, a mentorship session can be done by us, number 1. By expertise, sharing your knowledge, I chose writing a book. There can be many other ways as well. And number 3, networking, by helping people connect with the other people in your network so that the network expands, and that's the multiplier effect. So the time, expertise and network, these 3 we can go beyond the financial contribution.
Thank you so much, Vivek. I will not try to reiterate or sum it up because you have said a lot of things which are qualitative, and of course there's a lot of wisdom in that. But one last thing before we end this, there is a lot of leaders in this room, okay? You yourselves are. Any message that you would want to give them from your personal experiences of coaching in leadership when you look at philanthropic initiatives happening in India? What role these people can play in that?
So out of the three, sorry, I took it. So out of the three, I think time is what I really will request all the leaders to invest in people by giving your time, because the people you invest in, they invest in further, and that becomes a multiplier effect, and that's what the greatest impact we can bring. That's what I can say.
I would have just like to add that in my 2 decades of corporate experience and as a mentor with the Masters Union, where I've mentored the students, I've realized the greatest gift a human being can give to the other person is instill some self-belief in them. Because most of the times, what we are struggling with is nothing else but mindset. We have so many opportunities, but the mindset is such that we choose to look at the glass half empty rather than half full. So I think the greatest gift which each one of us at any capacity can give to the other person is instilling some self-belief in that person, giving him that growth mindset so that he carries on or he does his work beautifully well. That's always worked for me, and I have people coming back to me maybe after 5 years or 7 years, recalling that one conversation that rewrote the story in their mind. So that's what I do. Thanks.
So just one last thing before the organizers, give me another hint of it's time over. Just one thing you have noticed in your table right now is something called the legacy card. Now the theme of the session was also leadership beyond business. What legacy are you leaving behind? So the idea is that I'm not saying just start away right away, whatever you want to, it's your personal call. But one message and a request is that if today you start something like beyond the business that you're building, what is that one commitment you want to see? Say for an example, in 10 years down the lane or say 15 years, all the things that you are creating have reached a place that you have created great success both in personal life and in business. What is that one thing you would want to do for the society? Think of it, let it sit back with you, go home, and maybe anytime you can fill this commitment card at any given point, and you would need us to be a part of your life. We would be really happy. I have my 2 beautiful colleagues, Madhurika and Prabjot, here with me. They might have interacted with you. They will be here for the time. And thank you, Saurabh, once again for believing in this noble cause and letting us be a part of this great intellectual room. And I wish that when you go ahead in life, you will some point look back and we can again touch base and connect again. Thank you everyone for being such a sport to it, and my fellow speakers as well, Richa and Nilu.